All right, this is live. I am currently in my classroom, so if you hear students in the background, that is fine. All right, straight into it. What kind of triangle is this? Equilateral. How do you know it's equilateral? Right, the three angles are congruent. You have the congruent angles, so when all three angles are congruent, so are the sides, the opposite sides. So these are all congruent. So if this side is 7, what is the value of this side? 7. So x is 7. X equals 7. Too easy. Next, what kind of triangle do you have here? This is an isosceles triangle. So, how do I know it's an isosceles triangle? Right, I have two congruent sides, so that means those base angles are also congruent. So if this angle is 55, how many degrees is this angle? So how do I find the third angle? Right, the sum of the angles, the interior angles of a triangle, is 180. So I know it has to be 180 minus these two angles. And 55 plus 55 is 110. So 180 minus 110 is 70. So x is 70 here. Next, I will give you the measure of angle 2 is x plus 63, and I want you to solve for x. But you need to identify the triangle first. What kind of triangle is that? It's an isosceles because the two angles are congruent, and we also know that if the two angles are congruent, so are the base angles. So that means these two angles would be congruent as well. So if this angle measures 70 degrees, 180 minus 70 is 110. Right, and so when I divide 110 in half, I get 55. So I know this angle measures 55, and so is this one. But I'm not finished. I need to plug it in. So the measure of angle 2 is 55. And so you solve for x. Very good. X plus 63 is 55. When I subtract 63 from both sides, what do I get? X is negative 8. Very good. So that's your answer. What kind of triangle do we have here? Equilateral. How did you know that? Right. It shows three congruent sides. So equilateral triangle is also equiangular. So if this is 60 degrees, how many degrees is this angle? 60 and this angle. Too easy. All right, so let's solve for x. What number plus 65 is 60? Yeah, good. When I subtract 65 from both sides, I get negative 5. All right. Now, these problems, you have to use your previous knowledge, and you also need to know that it is multi-step, and you can only work with what you're given. And here, we're told that this angle is 126 degrees. So what do we know about this angle? It's 126 degrees. How do I know it's 126 degrees? Very good. Vertical angles are congruent. So now you move on to this triangle. This is an isosceles triangle, and so since the sides are congruent, I know the base angles are congruent. So I need to understand also it's a triangle. The three angles of a triangle add up to equal 180. So I have 180 minus 126, and what do I have? 54. So these two angles have to add to equal 54, but they are the same. So what's half of 54? 27. So if this angle is 27, how many degrees is this angle? Because they are vertical angles. Very good. And then again, we have an isosceles triangle, so that means the base angles are congruent. So if this is 27, this is 27. Very good. So that means these two angles add together to equal 54, and And so this angle plus these two angles equal 180. So 180 minus 54 is 126. So x is 126. Here's another one like that, except you're going to have to solve for x after you find the measure of that angle. Again, if this is 53, this is 53, so is this 53, this is 53, so is this 53. So how do we find the measure of this angle? Yeah, 180 minus, what is 53 plus 53? 106. So what is that? 74. So the measure of this angle is 74. So I'll just plug it in. So 74 equals, says it up here, 6x plus 8. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, so I can leave my variable positive. What's 74 minus 8? Very good. I divide both sides by 6, and x equals 11. What property am I using when I write 11 equals x and then x equals 11? Symmetric. Very good. Any questions?